Alright, this is going to be a first for me. We're going to do an Ultra HDMI install on the Pokemon Pikachu system. This is only really doable for me because of some parts we're going to see from Rob of OFS Mods. So thanks to Rob. Alright, the first thing I want to do is just make sure it works. So AC, AV, game, and controller are and the jumper pack installed. Make sure it works. Looks like it does. The cheeks are lighting up and blinking, so I think we're good to go. Let's tear it apart. Alright, obviously the first thing I want to do is take this apart to clean it. So, do the typical stuff. Seen it before. This one has 6 screws, security bits. Looks like our rubber feet are pretty well okay. I should be able to lift off the top lid without removing the jumper pack. The lid will take it with, yep. And then we got a wire over to Pikachu for the lights. Hadn't noticed that. Looks like Pikachu actually comes off, so we'll take him off. Ooh. We got dust bunnies. Couple of them. Very typical to see that, unfortunately. And very typical to see it up here because of those vents right there. Yeah, I didn't see that. It looks like... Was there a sticker right there I'm missing? I think there was. Something about push here for reset, because it looks like the blue has been yellowed, so to speak, a little bit, and the part that was under the sticker has less yellowing or none at all. That's too bad. I don't really have the time to take to de-yellow this thing, and it does work on colored plastics, and it's the retrobrite process, which basically tries to remove the bromine anti-fire retardant chemical that comes to the surface because of UV exposure, and it makes it look yellow. So let's see if I can take Pikachu apart here a little bit. But to push out the power and reset buttons so you can clean underneath those, and my god, that is gross. Definitely glad I took those off. I don't normally take the throat or flaps off. Those seem to get fairly clean just with soap and water and a toothbrush. Same with down in there. There's no way to get to that other than just throw a toothbrush at it. But I think the PCB will survive washing without taking it off. I don't think it's necessary to take it off, honestly. It's mostly this side anyway. I'm worried about cleaning and just around the edges here, so set all this stuff aside for now. Look at that. I am missing a screw. Huh. This is my first time seeing the heat sink like this. It's the newer design, I guess. Ugh. That is gross. This is a much better design though for the heatsink, because all you've got is that thermal pad going straight to the aluminum. You don't have to worry about aluminum block and then the sheet metal steel of the RF shielding and then back to the heatsink on top. That's way, way better design. Now I always remove that and clean that separate. So now the post is there, but there was never a screw put in it. I don't see threads in the plastic. That's very odd. I mean, it did have the long screw over here. Why is that one missing? Very interesting. Alright, so all parts are now clean and dry. Whatever was on those pads didn't want to just brush off. That was some really nasty stuff, so I'm going to have to wipe that off a little bit better. But kind of halfway pre-assemble the top again. There's some little bit of water residue left on there. Looks like I could have got down in there a little bit better too. I'm going to hit that real quick. Okay, no need to go super overboard there. A lot of it's going to be hidden, just like that. Well, there's our top done. Now I'll move on to the main board. Get the FFC soldered on there so we can actually test the board in the kit. That reminds me, I did see something while I was cleaning. A big broken piece of plastic on the player 2 port. So I believe I've got a parts motherboard sitting around here. I think I got one that's in really bad shape, like cockroach guts all over it or something. So I'm going to desolder this port off of a bad one and put onto this one. Well, here's the board that I was thinking of, and it's probably cleanable, but our 1 and 2 port, although very dirty, is not broken. But I noticed that the pins are very dark. I don't know if you can see that very well. There's a little close-up of them. It's just this one, they seem really dark compared to these. And what I was noticing was on where the controller port plugs in. I know I hear a lot of people have problems with these, and that's may be the only reason. Is just those pins need cleaned somehow. So when I get this apart, I'm going to see if I can't either swap the pins or clean the pins, or both. And then I also noticed something right away. Something I see once in a while. I don't know if you can tell. See that thing moving? That's something that happens fairly often. I'm going to fix that before I forget about it, because we might actually be able to reuse this motherboard somewhere else. Okay, now let's get back to the controller port. Alright, let's see if the Heiko 808 can pull this out here. I'm going to say I need a much larger tip. Cannot get over the pins with that tip. Okay, so I found one of the old tips that was so worn out you couldn't use it for regular small stuff. Works perfect for big stuff though. Beautiful. Now my main question was, do these pins just pull out the back? Does not appear to be that easy. You know what I don't want to do is break any of those trying to do that, so I'm going to wrench on this one. There we go. So it looks like it's just got a little serrated part right there that they're using as a way to keep it in place. That's all it looks like to me. I don't think it's anything special. No? It's just a serration. It does make me think that I could at least swap them out with this one that's broken with some kind of ease, at least. More dust bunnies. So yeah, I think I'll do that. So I'll get this one desoldered and then we'll just do some pin swapping. I'm not sure how well you can see that. I might have to get a close-up. I just polished this pin, and these are the ones that I pulled out of the connector, and I wasn't really impressed with the way the ends looked. I mean, this is the bad one, or the dirty one, I guess, the one that's not broken, and they looked rough, and some of the ends look like they're well on the way to being that, right? So WD-40 and rubbing alcohol really didn't do nothing. And I thought, you know, they're definitely coated, likely. It's not, they're not steel. You know, they're probably not even, they're probably some kind of coated steel or metal or whatever. And then I thought, you know, let's try some rubbing compound. This is the stuff I use on my cars. If you follow my Jason Does DIY channel, I use that stuff on my Thunderbird. I think the video was mostly about the hood. Man, that would come out great. So I just put some rubbing compound on a piece of paper towel here and polish that one. So now I'll see if I can polish one of the ones off of the dirty connector. Wow. That is a massive improvement. But that is still just a huge improvement. It doesn't even take that much. Yeah, I might have to do a whole separate video just on this. People are having problems with their controller not connecting. This might be the ultimate solution. It's not easy. It'd be a lot cooler if we could find something that could just fit down into the hole and surround the pin, you know, and put it on a drill with that rubbing compound and shine them up that way. Very cool. So I'll finish those up. The dirty piece is cleaned and drying, so once these are polished I can go get that and pull those out, replace them with these. That last bit with the steel brush and needing those pliers was just to try to get out any paper towel that was in that serration, just so the serration can potentially have a good hold on the plastic again. Just at a quick glance, can you tell which one pin I've replaced or pulled and polished and put back into the 3/4 dirty connector? Yeah, that middle one right there. It's just glaringly obvious. It works. Alright, here's the dirty connector, cleaned and dried. I'll pull these pins out and polish them. Yeah, I can definitely say the trick to that is to get the bottom leg out from the plastic holder, and that way you can wiggle it and then it'll pull out a lot easier. So now I'll polish these in the same manner. Not surprisingly, those cleaned up pretty well. I'm seeing a lot more copper being exposed on the tips. Makes me wonder if they're chromed. Like, to chrome you've got to like copper plate and then do the chromium plate, I think. So I'm not going to put these into the Pikachu console. So I'm going to put them into this one. Put the good ones into this one. And the broken one I'll put these back into and solder it back to that board that I pulled it from, just because I've never actually tested it and I am curious if it works. They are all the same length and whatnot, so they don't have to be kept in order or anything like that. Make sure they're all flush. Now that they've been bent, it's not likely they're going to sit back in that slot, but that's okay. You can just force them into the hole in the PCB. They did. It seems like both of these did. Well, 2 of the 3 broke on, or the plastic nubs, the locator nubs. 2 of the 3 broke on the broken one, and then 1 of the 3 broke on the non-broken one. I don't think it'll matter. Once these pins are soldered down, it's gonna hold it in place just fine. Okay. So there is the clean, unbroken one. Yeah, just as strong as it ever was. Excellent. Well, that part's fixed. Alright, so we're all soldered up with FFC. Let's go test it. Okay. Power. Might as well try analog video output. UltraHDMI. Game. Expansion pack. Controller. Expansion pack detected, right on. Okay, so it works. Now we can finish the install. I don't like to run that very long without the heat sinks on top of the chips. Okay, so get our foam pieces put on. And this is where we start finding out, hey, this is not the same. We don't have our metal square places right here on the bottom shell that usually hold it in place. So we got a lot of backwards and forwards here. That's just not going to work. Side to side seems somewhat okay. But what we do have is OFS Mods 3D plastic, 3D printed plastic inserts here. I have to drill those out a little bit there, it looks like. But this is the main piece we're worried about here. I forget how this goes in here now. I think it's like this, yeah. Yeah, these do not have the label on them, but that will keep our board from going backwards any. Very good. And of course, this one will do the same thing once I get it in there. Let's see. Looks like my holes are about almost a 1/4 inch, almost. 0.24. So I can probably drill those out. It's possible it was just flashing on the 3D printer. Seems like Rob did say something about that. So let me find the right drill bit here. Well, as far as my Imperial drill bits, I got a 0.234. That did not seem to do much. No? Oh yeah. That works. I think we're planning on selling these on my site. By the time you watch this video, they may already be up there. And no price is set yet. Just go check them out. We'll leave the ofsmods.com logo on there. I mean, he made them. So he asked me if I wanted to put my logo on, and I was like, no, dude, this is your product, you know. So that's gonna stay like that. So I might have to. Yeah, we're good. A little tight. That might just be because my holes aren't quite big enough. Now I can start in on the HDMI connector notch. It feels like this thing needs to go that way just a little bit yet. Kind of makes me wonder if this piece is even necessary. It's held pretty well by everything else. So either we need to shave off a little bit on this edge, or I need to open up my holes. It's even possible that I've got some flashing in this. It's kind of holding me up. It's pretty narrow in there, down at the bottom, compared to at the top. Yeah, I just noticed that it's printed from the top down, so this is the bottom of it, I believe. Yeah, that's a lot more movement. Maybe I shouldn't have cut it like that. Well, I mean, it doesn't seem to move a lot. I'm not even in my slot anymore. Yeah, I think I want to try to open up these holes a little more. Okay, 1/4 inch. Only felt like a little bit there. It looks like maybe the holes need to be stretched outwards. I mean, not much, maybe 1/2 millimeter. And I keep looking at this thinking, oh, this thing adds stability to the bottom of the board, right? Well, it sits on there. Well, then I look at it and I'm thinking, well, really all we need is that piece and that piece. These long pieces don't do anything other than whatever the UltraHDMI hugs, which probably isn't necessary to have all of them. And then I also think a lot of this doesn't need to be there. That doesn't need to be there. That doesn't need to be there. That edge I'm not sure really needs to be there against the back piece, but that might reduce print time at least, possibly. Kind of thinking not sure. Kind of looks like there's a lot of space right there between that post and the end there. Like maybe the whole thing could be that way just a bit. I'm not sure if that'll affect it any. That doesn't really give me the wiggle room. Same thing here. Looks like it needs to go that way. The 3D printed part. Probably only 1/2 millimeter again. And that one could go that way just a fraction. So, get back to prepping this notch. Okay, before I keep assembling, I'm going to do the in-game reset wire. And we got a pad right there on the main board for the UltraHDMI. I'm using a 6-inch wire. And I'm actually going to the inside pin, I guess, of the reset switch. It's shown in Marshall's guide to connect to one of the chip legs up here on the PIF maybe, or was it the? Yeah, I think it was on the PIF chip. I don't like that idea. This is so much easier. It's ridiculous. It just blows my mind that we would go for a chip leg when we have that giant pin right there to connect to. But you do want to avoid the sheet metal with that wire. And you also don't want to go so far as to get into the expansion connector either. And also, I like to try to get these tabs for the expansion pack
connector down into the slots, because it seems like you need to like angle and push down in there. I was trying to get these fingers back here in first, but it's just not necessary. But I've been like almost all the way together and realized that those were not down into the slots and had to like push them down with a screwdriver, and just makes it easier to line them up first. Okay, so do a fast run of putting the screws in. And I am going to replace that long screw that was missing. I think that was a mistake that it wasn't in there. I see no reason for it to not be there. Wow, there's not much room for that, is there? And we get our UltraHDMI sticker on there, of course. Okay, so final test. Expansion pack, cleaned it. Power supply. HDMI. Analog video, controller, game cartridge. Okay, cheeks are flashing, good. So the first thing I do, go into About and do the self-test. Uh-oh, we've got problems already. Maybe with the controller. Alright, so we got no wiring issues found. You have to wait until it's actually playing sound before you can really do the test. Turn this down. The other thing, I wonder if maybe my analog stick is finally messing up here. Let's see, go into advanced, disable hotkey, go to yes, IGR, and then save settings. And when we come out of there, you can't do C right, D right, and left right button or bumper pads to get back to the menu, and that means that you did set the in-game reset correctly. And I want to say that was, I don't even remember, it was something crazy like, was it left, right, Z? I don't remember, I have to look that one up. But what I will do, lower the volume way down because I've listened to this game already way too much. I'm already tired of it. I need something different. I'll let that run for a long time and make sure that that's good to go and put it up for sale. What I want to do is possibly get an EverDrive or something for the N64 so I can do more tests on it other than just playing a game. And I need to find more controllers to test all the controller ports and stuff like that too. So, which these, I polished the pins on 1 and 2, so those will probably be good for quite a long time now. Obviously I need to find a better controller too, something's messing up with that finally. But there you go, a Pikachu install. Hope you enjoyed it.